Mitchell Robinson's on some sort of load management program. OG's out with the hamstring injury, and now Landry Shamet may miss some time with the dislocated shoulder. All their Knicks down bad right now. Alex Trataros of Knicks Fan TV is hopping on to talk Knicks before their NBA matchup against the Hornets. But best believe, ladies and gentlemen, do not click away. We're not talking about the Hornets that much. Alex, what's going on, my man? Let's get straight into this, bro, because I mentioned they're already down OG. Mitch is on his own schedule. Landry Shamet re-dislocated his right shoulder that forced him to miss some time. What was that, 2 years ago? He didn't have surgery back then on it, and now he's at a crossroad. If he opts for surgery at this time, it's going to likely end the season. And if he decides to rehab it, that puts the Knicks in a situation to where they're thin at guard and they may have to waive him to open up a roster spot. If you're the Knicks, what do you do with this whole Shamet situation? Because he is playing well right now.
It's tough, man, because with Landry Shamet, as you mentioned, he is playing well. He's shooting very well this season, and he's been critical, especially in 2 wins so far on the year against the Miami Heat and as well as the Dallas Mavericks. So you're looking at a guy who, as we know, last season, after he came back from that shoulder injury, took some time to get back into the swing of things and then really didn't make his mark until the postseason. Now he came out of the gate hot this year. And to lose a guy like that for a team that's looking to put up a lot of threes is going to be tough if you don't have Landry Shamet. Now you got to go back out potentially on the market and see what's available. But I'm not there yet, Brandon. I'm not there yet in like, hey, let's just cut Landry. There's still an evaluation period that has to happen right now. And the Knicks are trying to figure out what are his options right now and how bad is the separation. So it's a day-by-day process. You know, Bondi just reported not too long ago saying that, you know, he's going to miss these games because it's classified as a shoulder sprain. But when talking to Mike Brown, there's still more evaluation to be done for Landry. So it's tough, man. But if he can't play for the rest of the season because he does opt for surgery, obviously you got to cut him. But if there's a closer deadline where he can rehab, they might go that route just to see if he can get back and then just try to hold weight without him.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for this kid, man, because at the Knicks game I went to, what, 2 weeks ago, 2 Fridays ago, he was getting the crowd, Landry, Shamet, and you heard people jokingly cheering MVP in the crowd as well. Kid was absolutely balling. Unfortunately, he has to go through this. Let's talk about another guy that's just kind of been balling as of recently on this squad. Mike Brown said that Cat's comfort level is starting to get there. Starting to get there for a guy that's one of the best big men in the league is a little something a little weird to me. But do you agree or disagree with what Mike Brown said about Cat?
I agree with that, and I know it's not pretty. And look, I've been a critic of Cat so far, how he started this season, but you could see that I think there's two ways to look at this thing. Is that one, you have the numbers, right? Is he having the same type of production that he did last season, especially when he joined the Knicks? Let's remember last year that he came out the out the blocks blazing, like just
Yeah.
scoring so efficiently because that's what we're comfortable seeing Karl-Anthony Towns doing. He is one of the best shooting big men in the league. And it's been tough because we know he had the quad injury to start this year. We know about the comments that you and I discussed not too long ago, him being comfortable and figuring how to fit into Mike Brown's offense. But I could say that over the course of time, you see him fitting into Mike Brown's offense. I mean, whether it's hustling up and down the floor, cutting down the middle of the lane, working off ball, stuff like that, you're starting to see Karl-Anthony Towns figure it out, especially on the offensive end, and play to what Mike Brown is looking for out of him. Now, the numbers are not going to be where they were last season, and I think that's the other, side to this coin is that why is he not producing the same way that he was doing last year? And look, there's an adjustment period for that. I understand that. Obviously, working through the injury too. But this is a guy who I'm confident will figure it out. He is an NBA All-Star. He is one of the best players in the league. I know that he's been inconsistent offensively right now, but I'm not too worried about him getting his footing and figuring out what he can do. Because look, even with the inconsistencies right now, Brandon, he's shooting 45% from the field. He's shooting a career low right now, currently a career low, 34% from downtown. But I expect that to tick back up, and he's shooting close to 89% from the free throw line. This is a guy who's going to figure it out, and I'm not too worried from a shooting perspective. It's just going to take some time to get into rhythm.
Yeah, I like how he's been aggressive and attacking the paint instead of just chucking up threes from the logo like he's Steph Curry. All right, I'm gonna put you on the spot right here, Alex. I need you to grade them. How the Knicks adapted defensively without OG Anunoby. What grade you gonna give them?
F. It's been awful. It's not even a question. You just watch them go out there, and it's just they're reeling. I mean, this team is allowing a lot of teams to get into the paint. And look, it's not just an OG thing, right? I mean, Mitchell Robinson is also not fully healthy. He's on his own schedule, as you mentioned earlier in this show. So not having Mitch, who hasn't even looked completely right yet, as your best rim protector, now you're losing one of your most versatile and best wing defenders. You're going to see this team struggle a bit just because when you have Brunson and Cat as two of your starters out there. I mean, defensively, they're not stalwarts. They're gonna let guys get through and get theirs. So you add that plus being down to your top defenders. On top of that, McBride has been in and out of the lineup dealing with his own personal issues. So it's been tough for this team to really get their footing defensively. We did see that they were capable of stepping it up in the postseason, but as of right now, it's been terrible without OG, without Mitch being there consistently, as well as McBride. And then if you throw in Shamet, who gives you a lot of hustle as well, also tough. But hey, it's something that they got to figure out. There's always a good in adversity. So Mike Brown has to get these guys correct because when you went into the season, you knew that these guys were going to miss time at some point. You knew you had Mitch that was going to be on a minutes restriction. OG, we got very lucky last season. This is a guy who typically misses a good amount of time due to injury, as we've seen throughout his entire NBA career. And so when you came into this year, you knew you got lucky with OG. So you had to be prepared that it was a good lightning wasn't going to strike twice with health for this team. So they got to figure it out. And I think while going through adversity, this team will get better defensively. But as of right now, it hasn't been great.
Okay, so now the bench is a focal point, just like it was in the offseason, because there was a heavy topic of okay, the Knicks have added to this bench. This rotation has gotten better. So grade them. Josh Hart, Jordan Clarkson. I guess just grade the bench as a whole up to this point.
Grading the bench as a whole up to this point. Let's see, man, because when I think about this team and like where they were last year, the bench was just awful. But they have improved this year as a unit, and we see the production, especially from Clarkson and Josh Hart, getting that consistent minutes and getting back into like some sort of like normal flow. As of right now, if you want to go through what the bench is doing according to the advanced stats, offensively, they're still in the basement. They're 29th when it comes to offensive production. But when you watch them with the eye test, you see that there is a better flow to the offense, especially with Clarkson giving you some solid minutes. When McBride is really in it, he can knock down some threes and get to the cup at times or just get a mid-range off. And Josh Hart is just great in transition. So I know the numbers say that they're awful, but the eye test says that they're a little bit more fluid than we saw last year. So with that, I'm going to give them a B. I'm going to give them a B right now just because I don't think it's that awful as what the numbers are saying, and it's still early in the season to really see where everyone is shaking out. But at the same time, they're not like this, unbeatable bench squad that we've seen in the past when we've had, Quickly, RJ, and all those guys on this.
All right, as of right now, they got one road win on the season. They got a chance to make that two against the Hornets. It's an NBA Cup game as well. 10-6 on the season. Final thoughts about where the Knicks are right now.
10-6 on the season, only one road win. They got the Horns tonight. I think on the season it's still a work in progress, and I'd go back to giving this team a B. I mean, offensively, when they're clicking and everyone's healthy, they've looked unstoppable. I mean, we there was a stretch against the Wolves. You talk about the Nets. You talk about Wizards. You talk about the Miami Heat. Like this team was putting up over 130 points easily when everyone was healthy. So, and from that, and I know like Brunson missed some game. I know Brunson missed that Miami Heat game. I know OG got injured as well. But like when you watch like what they are capable of doing, this team can really pack a punch towards other opponents. And this is just we're talking about 16 games through the regular season under a new head coach with a new offensive strategy. So I'm gonna give him a B because offensively they're there. Now it's not gonna get any higher than that because defensively, even though they've been opportunistic when guys are healthy, as of right now, it hasn't been consistent enough to believe that this team can really rev it up to that next level or deserve a grade of that high. But I think that they deserve a B for how they've been able to incorporate Mike Brown's offensive philosophy right now. It's been inconsistent because they're not playing at the same pace, but still being able to put up 130, 140 points. And when you see this team clicking in such a short amount of time, you're seeing that they're buying into the philosophy. It's just building that consistency, building that trust, building that conditioning, so that way they can continue to do this on a night-to-night basis.
All right, Alex, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, my guy.